I'll gladly do inventory for you. So this story goes back a little over 20 years. As a kid fresh out of high school, I worked at a major electronics retailer that paid commission versus hourly. What that means is if your commission for the week doesn't equal $11 an hour, the company pays you $11 per hour for the number of hours you worked. Again, this was just before the turn of the century, when cell phones were relatively new and home theater systems were a status symbol for the well-off. And I just so happened to be great at selling both of those. I was making great money as a young man. At some point, a new manager, Deandra, started and wanted the salesman to do weekly inventory instead of the warehouse employees. Deandra decided that we would only be paid $11 per hour to do so. This was a major problem for me and the rest of the sales staff, as it was costing us money by taking us off the sales floor. After much arguing and calling out sick on the day I was scheduled for inventory, it was decided that we would be paid the average hourly rate of our commission sales for doing inventory. Great. Cue malicious compliance. No one really kept up with how often the salesman clocked in or out during the day. The only thing that mattered was that the sales floor was always staffed, so I would show up for work like normal, but not clock in. I would only clock in long enough to ring up a sale and then immediately clock back out. This drove my average hourly rate to as high as $125 in the first week. So the next week, when it was my time to do inventory, I did so gladly, knowing the new pay structure. For 8 hours that day I made $125 per hour and left in a great mood. That was the last time I was ever put on the schedule to do inventory. I asked Deandra when I would be put back on inventory, but he only gave me a "I hate you" look and walked away. Of course, I filled my fellow salesmen in on my idea, and shortly thereafter it was decided that only warehouse employees would do inventory. This is professional level compliance. You wanna suck the money out of my wallet? No, I think I'll suck the money out of your wallet! Exclamation mark. Have the salespeople stop selling and count things. Has to be one of the worst business decisions I've ever heard. LMFAO. Ha ha ha. Oh well, there goes your extra income. Semicolon closing parenthesis. I repeatedly come across stories where management decided to screw over the salespeople. It's a variation on making the tipped employees do non-tipped work. I would have swapped with other salespeople to take their inventory last minute for that rate. So how does clocking in and out up the salary so high? Is it because they count each clock as an hour or something? Good for all of you. Every time the store sells something, start the inventory at the beginning again. A nice little bonus. Brilliant. That was impressive. This is the best MC I have seen. Literally sticking to the letter of the law. Not fraud or deception. And then draining the pointy-haired boss budget into your wallet. Extra points for sharing your skills with your colleagues. It was Radio Shack, right? Machiavelli would be proud. You aren't by chance related, are you? I took the inventory for years at work because one cook refused to count his station. After several times trying to get him to do his job, I did it, so I could do my food order. My inventory was helpful keeping everything in stock. When I hired the cook, he was told this was part of his job. After his training period, he claimed to have more experience than I, and should be the rightful manager. He did that in front of my DM and FOH staff. I calmly walked into the kitchen, put on a chef coat. The DM took his time card to him. DM fired him on the spot. After 10 years running that cafe, he failed his training. It took several weeks to find his replacement. I enjoyed cooking and training my new cook. Never bite the hand that feeds you. Sometimes a big mouth gets what's coming to them. How many times a day did you check screen? 155. Some folk, managers, here are calling it fraud. How so? He clocked in when he was working on the sales floor, clocked out when he'd left it, and worked the hourly rate warehouse job in between. I'd say Op was extremely diligent in managing his time for best gain. So glad I stopped in. Bravo.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.